Good afternoon and welcome to the final session on this painting that I've been working on here from the Life of James on Facebook, and welcome for the first time to anybody that might decide to watch this stream on Twitch. I've decided to give Twitch a go. I've never tried it before, so it's a whole new experience for me. This is where we're at the moment. The picture, of course, that we're working on is this one. Let's have a larger picture of it. There it is. This was sent to me by James. It's a picture taken by his son the other day. And here we go. This is where we are at now. There it is. There are a few things that I've noticed that need a bit of work. Good. I'm so glad to... excuse me, my mouth's not working. I'm so glad to hear that, Bruce. I do worry every time I put it in the hands of the Royal Mail. It's taken a gamble, but they've not been too bad, I must admit. They've only ever lost one. I did have an experience many years ago where I trusted a painting that had actually been paid £1,000 for to a courier to take it to a printer to have some prints done of it, and I put it in a big plastic tube, and I wrapped it in brown paper, and it had got these ends screwed on it that were really tight and everything. I thought this is going to be fine, and sent it off with a courier. I think it was TNT, only to have them drive over it, which didn't do it much good. So I always do. I was a bit concerned, but I'm so glad that it's arrived safely. Right, so this is where we're at with this baby here. I'm looking at the smoke, and I'm seeing the smoke as I put other things around it is disappearing a little bit into the paper. It's just there's not enough smoke there, so to speak. So I shall be working on that again in a little bit. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to bring everything else up to a bit more of a finish, and then we can get a better idea of how much depth we should put into the smoke. So actually what's going to happen first is we're going to take off the masking fluid that has been on now for a couple of days, which makes it a tiny bit more difficult to get off, but it does come off. You just have to persevere, give it a rub, make sure my fingers are clean, which they are. It's always easier to get the larger bits off than the smaller bits, I find, but as you can see here, it's coming off and it's leaving us with nice white paper underneath to work on. It's always worth taking a bit of time when you're taking off masking fluid, because it's very, very easy to miss a bit, and the last thing you want is to end up framing a painting that's got bits of a little bit of masking fluid on it. But fingers crossed we won't do that. You can see here that these are the things that I masked off early on in the session, right at the beginning, to save them so that we can work on them now at the end. There's a little bit there. It's actually the way to actually tell whether you actually left anything behind is less with your eyes and more with your fingers, because it's you can feel it raised in the surface. And that's better. There we go. And we know now where we're going to be focused on. It's going to be a matter of sharpening up where the masking was, because it's never 100% smooth. It's running over paper that's got a tooth to it, remember. So we're going to go over it and sharpen the lines up, and then of course working into the areas that we need to work in, like this bit here. I must stop doing this. I keep moving my mouse over the image, and of course you can't see that. It doesn't come out on your thing. Use my finger. This area here, which where we've got the signal, I think we'll work on that first, and on the barn, get that in, then down onto the tracks, and then we'll sort out this business with the smoke and and the engine. I'm a little bit croaky today, you'll have to excuse me. Right, excuse me there, just dealing with a little bit of business on the side there on the phone. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the signal over here first. If anybody is watching, if anybody's decided to find me on Twitch, greetings and to you. It's really interesting for me to be having a go on a totally new platform. I've no experience of Twitch, so this is new to me. I've been doing this sort of thing on and off, not the live streaming, but I've done videos and I've been painting for people on and off for many years. I've been using Facebook, and I've been using Twitter and YouTube and all that sort of thing, but Twitch is a whole new world for me. So we'll give it, but I thought we'll give it a go, see how we get on with it. It was my son Julian recommended it to me yesterday. We we had a bit of fun yesterday. We live streamed the Stoke City versus Reading match, first match of the season, and we had a bit of fun. It was great, and took us back in time for, Julian's grown up now. He's been off to university and he's done a postgrad and all that sort of thing. But when he was a little lad, we would go to all the Stoke home games. We were avid Stoke City supporters, and we haven't been to a match together for years now. And actually, yesterday was the nearest we got, which was great fun. and we Skyped each other. Well, not Skype actually, it was Discourse, and watched the match at the same time, which was great fun. But Julian is an avid gamer. He's kind of masters in game design, and he's a real game buff. And he uses Twitch for streaming and everything. It was him that told me that actually people paint on Twitch, and I never realised that. I've always thought of it as just a platform for streamers, streaming games. But I did go and have a look late last night and found some people doing exactly what I do, sitting there happily streaming away and painting. And so I thought, hey, that's what I do, that's my thing. So I thought I'd have a go on Twitch, as well as the stream has also been fed to YouTube, Twitter and Facebook simultaneously. So whatever you're watching on, thank you for watching. But if you are watching on Twitch, hello, and let's hope this is the beginning of a very happy relationship. As you can tell from what you're seeing here, what I do is quite different from what I see a lot of the other streamers that are streaming art on Twitch are doing. I am much more traditional, as should we say, in what I do. You're not going to find me doing anime or anything like that, but you will find me doing a big range of different subjects, because the whole idea of what I do here is that people who are friends and followers on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and and now Twitch, what they do is that people send me photographs from their lives. That's why it's called I Paint Your Life. And well, just over a week now, I've actually been streaming it live most weekdays, every weekday, and just occasionally, like at the moment, at a weekend when I've got one that needs finishing off. So that's what I'm doing here. This is the third session on this painting. If you want to catch up, if you go and find me on YouTube, I am just Steve Bird Artist on YouTube, so you should find me easy enough. If you go to my YouTube channel, everything that I've done in the last week, plus stuff that I did before I started this project, it is on there for you to watch. And you can catch up if you want to on how this painting got going, and then what I've done in the first two sessions. While you're there, I would be delighted if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell notification icon, so that every time I post a new video you get a little notification. There we go. Actually, I think I've not that one, that's the sticker one. Let's go for putting one or two lines in with the pigment pen. This is pigment ink. As I've explained in other previous videos, and it works very well together on the page with the watercolour, so there's no bother there. And because it's pigment ink based, it's not going to fade. It's of the same quality, of the same artist quality pigment as the paint that I use to actually do the watercolour painting. I don't know whether you realise actually that the pigment in most paints, it varies in quality depending on which paints you buy. I always buy artist quality paints, no matter what who the manufacturer is. I don't think if you're any intention of selling your work, I don't think you should ever stint on the paint, because the last thing you want is for somebody to pay you good money for a painting, only to find that in a year's time that painting has become faded and lackluster, and the paints that I use and the pigments that I use, like in those pigment pens and everything, are the best that you can get and will last, hopefully, for a long time. I got paintings on the wall in the house that I've had for quite some time. Some of them over 30 years, and they are as fresh today as the day that I painted them with, because I've always taken great care to use the highest quality paints. Don't know how we got onto that one. You will find that as I talk, as I paint, I do tend to ramble. I like to talk to you, I like to address you, I like to hopefully interest you in what's going on here. Give you little snippets of insight into my process, into my life, really. Welcome in, you know. This is it's all about a sense of community, a lot of this, isn't it? I found very much that painting online like this is actually much more enjoyable than in the past, when I've been painting very much on my own in the studio. Okay, I have something going on YouTube or something in the background that I listen to and all that sort of thing, but this makes it more enjoyable, Hello, hi, what's that saying? I'll have to get close to the screen here. Luigi27036. Somebody watching from Twitch. I am absolutely gobsmacked. I had the feeling that because this is my first time, I would be sitting here and maybe it'd take, a while for people on Twitch to catch on that I was here. But thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for the little hi there. I hope you stick around and enjoy watching. Feel free to talk to me, ask me anything you want. I'm happy to talk about anything. I must say I was amazed at the number of artists that there are on Twitch who are live streaming their painting. Um, this was a whole new venture for me a week ago. I had no idea whether anyone was going to be interested in it at all. I sort of got the feeling, I think, that I'd be sitting here on my own and there'd be nobody watching. But it's, I think, because it was long format. I mean, these paintings take hours and hours to do. They're not quick. It's not a quick fix thing. And I thought, who's going to watch that? Who's going to sit and watch me paint for hours on end? And what I expected, I think, was that people would... There goes my phone. What I expected would be that people would pop in, have a little look, see what's going on, and then maybe go away and come back. And then come back in an hour or two and see how it was getting on again, you know. But I have to say, I have been really quite surprised by the number of people who have actually been watching every minute of every video. And some of these paintings have taken about 8 hours altogether, and I've been absolutely blown away by that, actually, and it's been really nice. I mean, it's nice to think that people are interested. Just sharpening up these the edges of the railway tracks here with the fine pigment pen, just to, you know, there's one thing these tracks need to be, is it's defined. That's coming. I'm glad to see that the chat is working as well and combining everything. Into it, just integrating it. I'm using Restream to do this, and I must say it's been really reliable this last week. And when I added Twitch to the account, this morning, it's literally just gone, okay, yeah, hello, and as I can see there, with Luigi27036's little comment, it's working. The account is the chat is combining, which is good to know. That's getting better. Let's crop in some lines on this here, which is going to be darker than the rest of it. It's I think this is the cables that run down the centre of the track. This is the electricity cables or something. Looks like it. I am not in any way a train buff. I am no expert on trains, so don't get that idea, because I basically, when it comes down to the technical side of these things, have no idea what I'm talking about. So don't take anything that I say for as some sort of expertise on railways, because it's certainly not. It's I do believe that the person who took this photograph, though, is very au fait with these things, and I'm sure there will be some people out there that really understand what I'm talking about. I probably understand that I'm talking a load of rubbish, you know, but I'm an artist, I'm not a railway fanatic. Though this is, I have to say, a challenging and a really enjoyable subject to be working on. There we go. We're getting there. We are indeed getting there. I think those tracks are starting to look, yeah, they're starting to look more real. And when we get a little bit of tone on there as well, that'll pull them into place. Now, as promised, before I got distracted there, back to the jolly old signal over here. I think I must get another camera down here on the palette, because you can't see it, and I think it would be interesting for you if you can actually see me mixing the paint at the same time. I know people do find that sort of thing interesting. I do want this to like combine a little bit with the dark paint around it, so that it's just sort of emerging from the out of nowhere. It needs to be a little bit lighter, not much. Just basically toning these in and softening them down, so because they're just really just highlighted against the trees in the background, and I just want them to be subtle. I do not want them to be glaring out. So just dropping them back there is enough. Let's get this, keep this fairly fairly light, this first application on the pole. Then I'll get the tissue and just take it off again, so that I get the lightest edge on this side as I pull down on this side, and we should start to see that look a little bit more three-dimensional. Blend it in with the background there, and yeah, see, it's there, it just emerges from nowhere. Let's just get that That's good. Key that down. A little bit of, take that out underneath there. And we are getting there, we are cooking. Let's get the blue there to, that's it. The very first little dot of very, very, very dark red emerging there, just as a glint, just as a tiny little glint that there is a red light in there. There is one here as well, but we're going to make that one much darker. That's it, it's there, but it's not, you better look for it. Not everything should be in your face in these pictures. There are a lot of things when we look at a scene that we know they're there, and if we focus on them, we will see them. Yeah, they're there, you know. But a lot of the time, we don't focus on them, and they are just out of our vision. And so it's enough that they are intimated, I suppose. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, just open the chat window on the other side there. That gives me a much better idea if anybody's actually there. Excuse me. I'm still getting to grips with the whole tech thing of streaming here. There we go. Oh, there we go. And right, where am I? Oh, that's it. I was working on the signal, wasn't I? Just got distracted for a moment by trying to sort the things out technically over here. I did sort something out so technically the other day that I cut the stream off by accident, which was technically a rubbish thing to do. Just a little glint there. Let's go here, because they're probably white if you get close, but they're weathered, it's been outside, it's not, that's it. We don't want it to be bright white. You know, I didn't check that text message, it could say the house is burning down. No, it's saying that I've had another spam voice message. I'm getting these all the time at the moment. Spam voice messages left, right and centre. I don't know what they're after, I've got nothing for them to have, but hey, they can try. You'll also find that I'll say, oh, I'm just about to do this, I'm just about to do that, and then my mind wanders and I see something else and I go and do that instead. Never mind. Never mind, as they say. Let's, oh, that needs neatening up down here. Let's get the pen on that. Not that one. That's the 3. That's the 3, there we go. Wherever you are, whatever platform you are watching on, welcome, and maybe you would like to consider joining in with my project and sending me a photograph from your life for me to paint live here online. You can watch me paint it. People have been watching me paint their pictures from all over the world in the last week. James, who sent me this lovely picture, and his family were watching this the other day while stuck on the M5 coming back from Cornwall. So they were watching it coming up the motorway. Here in the UK, which I thought was interesting. And at the same time, I had a lady, a friend online, named Karen, sitting watching it just outside Houston in Texas. And so, simultaneously, another follower of mine who's been a great follower for the last 7 years, Dheeraj, was sitting watching it in India. And I'm absolutely gobsmacked, as they say, by this, because to me it's just amazing that people all over the world sitting and enjoying watching me paint, which I think is fantastic. I was wondering whether to actually put myself down in the bottom corner behind the picture there. I could do that, couldn't I? I noticed this morning when I was looking at the people on Twitch streaming, quite a few of them actually had their face cam in the scene at the same time. Don't know whether you want to have my I don't know whether it make it more personal or not. I'm not sure. Can try it. I think a lot of the thing is here. This is a relationship that we're building up here. You know, I actually feel that the people that are buying the paintings that I'm painting and that are, or the people that are enjoying just watching, or those people that are learning. I mean, I do realise that there are quite a few people who are learning how to paint in watercolours, who are watching this to learn, which is great. I've done the same thing myself. I still do the same thing myself. I still watch people painting online because we always have something to learn, don't we? from everybody. You can learn from anybody. You can watch what they're doing. You can watch what they're doing. You can watch them get it wrong and learn from it, which is a great, all right, a good truism that. And you will find as time goes by that as you get better, you'll be watching what I'm doing here, say, and you'll be going, oh, it's not that bad, I can do that. I know maybe 30 years ago or something, nearly now, it would be almost that, just less. I decided to take up the guitar again after a long, long break away. And I'd always wanted to play sort of lead guitar, especially bluesy guitar, and I bought myself this cheap guitar, and I got a video. YouTube had not been invented then. We learned from books, we learned from videos, we learned from each other. And I brought a video of this guy, and he was playing the guitar so in the style of all these different guitarists. And he was saying, well, B.B. King would play it like this, whereas Stevie Ray Vaughan, he'd play it like this, and all this sort of thing. And I remember buying this videotape and taking it home and watching it and thinking, God, I'll never be able to do that. That's amazing. That's incredible. I'll never be able to do that. I remember a few years later finding this videotape and putting it into this old video recorder that I'd still got hanging around and watching it and thinking to myself, he's alright, it's not that good. He's alright, but I can do all that now. It's funny. And I think the same probably goes with painting. We look at it and we'll go, it's alright. Yeah, wow. All depending on where you're at, you'll be looking and going, wow, that Steve Birdie's amazing. Oh gosh, I could never do that. That's brilliant. Or whatever. Or you'll be sitting there going, that's easy, that isn't. Anybody can do that. Well, anybody can learn to do it. I will go with that 100%. This is a learned skill. It's not innate talent. I wasn't born being able to do this. This is practice and keeping going, not stopping, never giving up, and all that sort of thing. I mentioned before that I used to draw portraits in the street to supplement my income. And once you have sat in the street for a few years doing that, you realise that you've got a technique now that what I used to say was, I could train a monkey to do this. This is a technique. This is a skill that I've developed because, and the skill isn't necessary. It's born out of two things. It's born out of repetition, doing something over and over again. It's better. Doing something over and over again so that certain aspects of what you do become second nature. Let's put it that way. You know, certain elements of it's like sitting down and drawing a portrait. An eye is always in the same place on the head, except when it isn't. I'm not meaning to be cryptic. I'm not honest. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you know when you sit down that the person that's going to sit down in front of you under normal circumstances is going to have two eyes. They're going to be more or less in the same place. Some are wider apart than others and all the rest of it. But they are, you know, that's what human beings are like. Until somebody sits down and one eye doesn't work. One eye, they're blind in one eye. I mean, it happens. Or they are from a different culture, which is interesting. You get somebody that sits down in front of you who is from the Far East, and the structure of their face is different. They've got two eyes, just like the rest of us. The majority of the rest of us, they have two eyes. They have a nose and all the rest of it. But the way those eyes are is different. They are set differently in the head. The brow and the bridge of the nose tends to be flatter, and so everybody that sits down in front of you, you know what you're going to do. You're going to draw their eyes. You know where the eyes are, but then that's where the skill comes in, because then you realise that actually there's something different here. I've got to concentrate on this. I've got to get it right. That's the bit the monkey couldn't do. But the monkey could sit down and go, oh yeah, face, eyes, nose, yeah, and see that, do this, do that, do the other, done. I'm not suggesting that we enslave monkeys to be artists. That would not be nice at all. I'm just trying to say that this is a learned skill. This isn't. I wasn't born being able to do this. Neither were you. Some people are born with what, an innate sort of leaning towards being able to do this sort of thing. That's without doubt. But okay, now aren't we? Can see it coming. But there are those I don't think I was born with an innate ability to do this. Because I know how hard it was at first when I started to learn how to do it. It didn't come easy, it was hard work. I produced some rubbish. I really did. In the early days. But the more you do, the more you learn, the more your hand and your eye begin to work together, and your brain doesn't have to intervene too much. So you can do like I'm doing now, i.e. sit here gabbing away to you people out there and painting at the same time. And I can do that because I've been doing this for a long time. And I like talking. You can probably tell. How's it coming? It's coming okay. I think we can probably put a bluey tinge on one of the two of these just to knock them back a little bit. These back into the distance. We're getting there, babies. We're getting there. That's masking fluid. Get that off. Right. Let's knock that bit down there. That's it. It's there, but it doesn't want to glare, so to speak. Gosh, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. There we go. Actually, I did want to read you some of my poetry as I do this at some point. You never know. I did actually, if anybody who listened to earlier, the videos that I did the day before yesterday and the day before that, I did actually play some of my my recordings, my songs and my music as I was painting, which was a bit different. So you never know, I might read a poem or so to you as we go along. See what I can inflict on you all. I don't think I've got to the point yet where I've sort of played some music or anything like that and I've driven people away. I think people have been, on the whole, sort of quite responsive. Been quite nice. Now do feel free if you get the urge to type into the chat box and say hello. ask a question or just be friendly. Pretty cool that is, I'm happy with that. And the red. I think the red is written darken down a little, make it a bit more dusty. Nice thing is you get a landscape like this and it's so predominantly green and blue and black and sort of dark that when you do get a little bit of red in there, it really pops. It's nice. I'm putting a bit more pigment on this bit because this is the bottom of the engine, which I inadvertently the other day painted black. I don't know why. I think I was just getting tired. It is undoubtedly a dark red. So there is a black line and everything, a bit of black line in there as well, which I shall put in a minute. That is much better. That's nice. Happy with that. We're getting to the final stages here. I think we just need a little breather for a second before I just begin to help to define that. Before I just begin to just put a little bit more, and very cautiously put a little bit more work into that steam that's coming out of the engine, so that it doesn't just look white, because it isn't just white, is it? So I'm going to just take a minute or two just to sit here and study it. And while I do that, I shall play you a bit of music. I won't play it too loud. Let's keep it a bit down. This is one of mine. This is me singing, playing everything. I'm doing the whole thing. There's nobody else playing on it. It's all me. enjoy. Just give me a moment to cogitate on this smoke. It was early one Sunday morning when the world was still asleep. Put on my boots and I started walking. This small town living's not for me. Headed out down that dusty highway, just my dreams and me. Don't know where I'm headed, but there's a big old world to see. Caught up the buzz in the great big city, with my dreams in a bag. I was young and pretty, had the world at my feet. Started looking for a place to stay. You know they tell you that those streets are paved with gold and you're headed for a win. But I can tell you that those streets are paved with dirt like anywhere I've ever been. Don't trust the bright lights, don't let them drag you in. Don't trust the bright lights, the flashing eyes will tell you lies. Don't trust the bright lights, 'cause all that glitters ain't what it seems. Don't trust the bright lights, don't you let them steal your dreams. Comes a time when you gotta say, can't take this for another day. Days are empty and the nights are long. Ain't no difference between right or wrong. It's time to end this misery. Head on back to where the wind blows free. Pack my bags and this old guitar. Leave my dreams in the corner of a stinking bar. Don't trust the bright lights, don't let them drag you in. Don't trust the bright lights, the flashing eyes will tell you lies. Don't trust the bright lights, 'cause all that glitters ain't what it seems. Don't trust the bright lights, don't you let them steal your dreams. Sometimes you gotta know when you're all done. Sometimes you gotta know when to cut and run. Sometimes that story can't be told. Sometimes it's time to hit the road. Don't trust the bright lights, don't let them drag you in. Don't trust the bright lights, the flashing eyes will tell you lies. Don't trust the bright lights, 'cause all that glitters ain't what it seems. Don't trust the bright lights, don't you let them steal your dreams. There you go. That's a little bit of a change, a little bit of a break there from what I'm. This is me ramble on, you can listen to me sing instead. At least if nobody can, claim a copyright strike on me, because that's all mine, so I can play that on the air as much as I want, so to speak. Right, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And then I'm just going to work a little magic into that smoke. I think we're nearly there. I think we are nearly there. Tell you what, while that dries, let's have another one. pocket full of money, hot car and a big man's suit too. A tall townhouse up Main Street. Good friends, I'll get me a few. But if I ain't got you, baby, I ain't nothing but blue. Could take a jet plane across the ocean, see things that I never knew. Find a gold mine in my garden, buy me a mansion with a view. But if you ain't with me, baby, I ain't nothing but blue. Could win a fortune on the numbers, buy me a yacht with an all-female crew, sail away down to the sunshine, get everything shiny and new. But if you ain't by my side, girl, I ain't nothing but blue. So woman, tell me that you love me, say that you'll always be true, 'cause this love here in my heart, honey, you know that it's all for you. 'Cause I ain't got you, baby, I ain't nothing but blue. So if I ain't got you, baby, I ain't nothing but blue. Nothing but blue. I ain't nothing but blue. I ain't nothing but blue. Right, that indeed was me. That's one of my songs. think that is that. I think, unless there's anything glaringly obvious springs out at me when I look at it later on, that we can consider is basically done. There we go, signed and completed. We will now do the lovely bit where we take the paper off the board here and get the nice straight edges to reappear and pick it off. Always remembering, as I say every time, to pull very flat and away from the image. Then if by any chance the paper does tear, which once in a blue moon it might, it tears away from the image and there's no problem with it. It's only on a bit of white paper. But most of the time, because this is low tack masking tape, it comes off nice and clean, doesn't leave a residue, doesn't rip the paper, which is exactly what you want. There's the last bits. Look in the cover, that doesn't matter. There we go. Take the eraser and just take the pencil lines off as much as we can. most of this paper will be trimmed off before it's posted off to the client anyway, that way, so it doesn't really matter too much, and that way it will actually fit into the envelope that I use better. But there you go, I Paint Your Life number 6 from the life of James, completed. Thank you again for joining me as I sit here painting these pictures. If you would like me to paint from your life, don't forget to look through your photos on your phone or wherever you've got them stored, and to send them to me, Steve at stevebirdartist.co.uk. You can see it there written across the bottom of the screen. And next week at some point, or the week after, or whenever I get round to it, it might be you that is sitting there watching me bring your painting from your life to life. Once the paintings are finished, they are available for sale. I keep the prices as low as I can possibly keep them. Each one of these paintings costs, if you want to buy your painting, you £100 plus postage and packing, which if you're in the UK is £5. If you are overseas somewhere, it's £10. That's all. So, it's something that you will keep and treasure forever. So pretty much, that's not a bad price, I don't think. So, thank you very much again for watching, and I will see you tomorrow as I start the next painting in this series, I Paint Your Life. Till then, bye bye.